Today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create.
The day just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100% that the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time we'll start to see that. Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people. What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. Here's the thing, when you start pulling at the threads of a story involving Diddy Commons, the whole tapestry begins to unravel, and what's underneath? Well, that's another old everyone's whispering about. Let's real Diddy's name has been swirling around in conversations that go far beyond music or business for years, but with the recent federal charges and all the skeletons tumbling out of closets, people are starting to wonder if the man who built one of the most successful empires in entertainment has been hiding something all along. And guess what? Katt Williams might have been one of the first to call it out long before anyone else dared to speak. Have thought Diddy would be throwing all these celebrity mates under the bus. I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries. So Katt Williams has always had a knack for saying the quiet part out loud, and this time it's no different. During a comedy special earlier this year, Katt didn't just throw shade, he basically lit up the entire forest. He talked about turning down invitations to certain parties, particularly ones hosted by Diddy. Why? According to Katt, those parties weren't exactly your typical Hollywood gatherings. You got to tell him no, Katt said, claiming he had the receipts to back up everything he was saying. And now, with the recent allegations against Diddy, people are looking back at Katt's comments like he was some kind of prophet warning us about what was to come. Pop star Aaron Carter has, at the age of 34, the troubled performer grew up in the limelight, but he was in and out of rehab several. But let's start at the beginning, because this doesn't just begin with Katt Williams or even the recent legal drama. To understand how deep this all goes, you have to rewind the clock to the early days of Diddy's career. Back in the 90s, when Diddy was still climbing the ladder, he was taken under the wing of Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown Records. Andre saw something special in Diddy, mentoring him and giving him his first big break in the music industry. Together they built something extraordinary, with Diddy helping to shape the careers of artists like Mary J. Blige and Jessie. But as Diddy's ambitions grew, so did the tensions between him and Andre. Eventually Diddy left Uptown Records and struck out on his own, creating Bad Boy Entertainment. The split wasn't exactly amicable. There were whispers that Diddy's departure wasn't just about creative differences, but about power struggles and control. And here's where things start to get murky. Andre Harrell, who was once like a mentor to Diddy, passed away in 2020. The official cause: heart failure. But some people think there's more to the story. Why? Because Andre was reportedly working on a tell-all memoir before his passing, one that might include details about his time with Diddy and the behind-the-scenes drama at Uptown Records. Rick MB, the street is now cleared. People have been moving in and out of that home behind me all day, and tonight we heard from some of those closest to Aaron Carter, and they all say the same thing. They all share stories of a very kind, loving, caring, humble yet troubled young man. And Andre wasn't the only one. Heavy D, another Uptown Records legend, had also been reportedly working on a book before his sudden passing in 2011. Heavy D was a trailblazer in hip-hop, and his influence helped pave the way for Bad Boy Entertainment's rise. But like Andre, his story ended abruptly. The official explanation was a pulmonary embolism, but once again people couldn't help but notice the timing. Heavy D's demise came just as the industry was starting to shift, with more and more people speaking out about the darker side of fame. Is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Then there's Kim Porter, the woman at the center of some of the most chilling rumors. Kim wasn't just one of Diddy's former partners, she was the mother of 3 of his children and someone who knew him better than almost anyone else. In 2018, Kim passed away at the age of 47, with officials citing pneumonia as the cause. But here's where things get strange. Kim was reportedly working on a memoir before her sudden passing, and according to multiple sources, that book was set to reveal some explosive truths about her relationship with Diddy. Well, Kim Porter, you know, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children, right? has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands, and this is all in a memoir. Al-Bashir, Kim's ex and the father of her oldest son, has been one of the loudest voices questioning the circumstances of her passing. He's called it a tragic setup on more than one occasion, even going so far as to say that Kim's life was taken from her. Al-Bashir has also claimed that Kim texted friends shortly before her passing saying, "He got me." Who is she talking about? That's the million-dollar question. But it doesn't stop there. After Kim's passing, Diddy reportedly showed up at her home with his security team and confiscated her phone. Why and what was on that phone? These are the kinds of questions that keep circling with no clear answers in sight. Person that really put their hands on women really is people who have men who have feminine traits. So you know it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So you know a man is so strong enough we can just walk away. You don't, you can. Do it. So many different things that you can do other than get upset. Put your hands on a woman, but that comes from a man who's not quite of a grown man. The details of Kim's supposed memoir, which some claim was leaked after her passing, paint an even darker picture. The alleged manuscript includes shocking claims about control, manipulation and even surveillance. According to reports, Kim felt like she was being watched at all times with her phone lines tapped in her home. Wired, she reportedly wrote about being forced into situations she didn't want to be in with people she didn't trust. And then there are the allegations about financial control, how Diddy allegedly used his wealth and power to keep her in line, even threatening to take custody of their children if she ever tried to expose him. It was all insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to reap someone's phone, or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do. If all of this sounds like the plot of a Hollywood thriller, that's because it practically is. But it's not just Kim's story that raises eyebrows. Let's talk about Biggie Smalls. The notorious Big wasn't just Diddy's pred, he was the face of Bad Boy Entertainment and one of the most iconic rappers of all time. His demise in 1997 remains one of the most infamous unsolved cases in music history, and while the official narrative has always been that Biggie was caught in the crossfire of the East Coast-West Coast feud, there are plenty of people who think there's more to the story. Uncle Ron, a former bodyguard who worked in the industry, has made some explosive claims about Biggie's passing. According to Uncle Ron, Biggie was starting to push back against Diddy's control, particularly when it came to his music rights. Biggie reportedly wanted ownership of his catalog, a move that would have cost Diddy millions. Not long after those conversations started, Biggie was gone. Uncle Ron has alleged that Biggie's demise wasn't just a tragic accident but the result of a calculated plan to protect certain interests. And here's the kicker: Uncle Ron himself passed away under mysterious circumstances shortly after making these claims public. Now to the latest on the arrest of Shaw Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here? And then there's Craig Mack, one of the first artists to sign with Bad Boy Entertainment. Craig's breakout hit Flava and Yair helped put the label on the map, but after a few years Craig's career seemed to stall, with some saying he was pushed aside to make room for Biggie. Like others in Diddy's orbit, Craig reportedly grew frustrated with the way he was being treated. He wanted more control over his music and his career, but according to sources, Diddy wasn't willing to give it to him. Craig eventually left the industry altogether, joining a religious group in South Carolina. He passed away in 2018 with the official cause listed as heart failure, but once again the timing has people talking. Craig reportedly spent his final years voicing frustrations about his time with Boy, and some believe he was silenced before he could say too much. All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way. And it doesn't stop there. Anthony Wolf Jones, one of Diddy's closest confidants and bodyguards, also met a tragic end. Wolf was more than just security, he was a key player in Diddy's rise to success, even investing hundreds of thousands of his own money into Bad Boy Entertainment. But as Diddy's empire grew, their relationship reportedly soured some.